Carter, the Power Bryant. Good evening, good sir. How are you?
I hurt my knee a little bit. I banged it into a desk, which I call now the DJ Lagway, because it's always something new. It's always a new injury with the Florida quarterback. So
I've seen Will Campbell in a walking boot walking around campus and not give up a pressure for 7 weeks with a mild calf strain.
yeah, I understand. It's just something. I mean, it's always something, right?
Kids are coming back to campus. He was running. He had a mild calf strain. I don't think this one's a big deal. I really don't. The shoulder's still a bigger deal.
I don't either, but I do find it rich that I see him on QB list ahead of guys like Lenore Sellers, Gary Meyer. When, yes, it is true, he beat us. And yes, it is true, he beat Ole Miss and prevented them from making the college football playoff. And yes, that first half versus Ole Miss was as good as any SEC quarterback played last year. But Blake, your best ability is availability. Yes. And it is strange. And I'm not just talking about like top 3 SEC quarterbacks. I'm talking national. I've seen him on quite a few top 5 lists. And they call this putting the cart before the horse. So it is interesting. We do play him this year. I do see a world where he is really that guy. But let's just slow down, man. Quarterback's been an old man's game in college football recently.
From a national championship winning perspective, yes. From others, no.
What?
Well, from others, no. I mean, Lenore Sellers broke 27 tackles in a half, and he was a red-shirted freshman. So, yeah. Kay Klubnik had a big year, and he's back. I mean,
right, but he was a year 3, and he had 1 full year of starts under his belt.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, okay.
So that's what I normally consider to be an old quarterback if you're a year 2 starter in year 3. But that's the thing. I just think there's going to be some growing pains with
Quinn Ewers was Dookie water.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
Quinn Ewers was Dookie water. What's the difference in between his turnovers and other people or their quarterbacks' turnovers? Why they hate on him so much?
You would not see me defend Quinn Ewers at all, even though he's had a few good throws in Dolphins camp. But yeah, I do find it interesting. But it's good to see you, Mr. Blake. Yeah, I'm pumped up.
Yeah, so players report tomorrow. I guess, and I don't know your current status, but I'm going to give you the question that I always given you, and I've given you the last 4 seasons. So let's roll through here. Gates open on Wednesday, 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. The first place Carter Bryant is running to see this position group up close and personal is where?
Yeah, it's offensive line. I think that would be yours as well. I heard you talking about Carius Kern and the disservice it would be to play him at offensive tackle. Now, full disclosure, he did play offensive tackle in high school, even though most projecting to play guard. Most great offensive linemen play offensive tackle in high school instead of guard. So I could see a world where Carius Kern is playing a lot early. Like he's also my number 1 guy in this class. I have a higher grade on him than Pickett, who I view very highly, and Harlan Berry. So I'm with you on this kid's ability, this kid's mental makeup, and all of that. And honestly, the player that I'm most interested in is Josh Thompson, right? I think LSU views him not necessarily as just an offensive lineman, but potentially as a weapon if they're going to run a lot of counter. I do see a world where they want him at guard and they want him going out there and mauling faces on pulls and all of that. So he is just so critical for the success of this team. Every single one of those offensive linemen are going to be unbelievably critical. And it's weird, Blake. I just got done doing an Aaron Anderson film study. I watched him for 3 full days, every single rep. And I just kept saying in the back of my mind, none of this matters if Brad Davis doesn't do the best coaching job of his career, which is what it's going to take for LSU to actually not only beat Clemson, but get into the college football playoff.
What did you see when you saw Josh Thompson and his film?
It was fine. Like you saw greatness. You more so saw him playing against really good players, and I know you've made that point plenty of times. That's what really stood out to LSU is that Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, a lot of these Big Ten schools, when it comes to the SEC, they're not that far off when it comes to producing really, really, really good defensive line. So that jump shouldn't be too big. I do know Josh Thompson was licking his chops to be in the SEC and play against the best. And I'm really excited. This is a guy who had to join spring late because of classwork. Right. And look, he was interested in Tennessee, but eventually chose LSU. So I'm really pumped up about this, really pumped up about what he could bring this offensive line, and how LSU sorts that out, Blake, is going to be the single most important question for this team going into next year.
I do think Carius is going to push those guys in the interior a lot from what I hear coming into camp. And listen, I don't know if he beats out DJ Hell. I don't know if he beats out Thompson. I don't know what's going to happen there. I have no clue. And I'm not coming out here saying I have a clue. What I do have a clue on is that there is no bigger buzz on the three big freshmen more than him right now in that building. It does not exist. I think mainly because of the fact – well, let's talk about it. I think there's two things in reference to offensive line play that you need. There's one thing to be a freak of athlete and freakishly strong. There's another thing to have good technique and playing through good technique through four quarters, which you've never been at this level. I mean, even Will talked about like, hey, my technique was the biggest issue I had. It wasn't necessarily strength. So we'll see there. But Carter, he benched 485 twice, and he could have gotten more reps. So I think what's happening here is that I was even told that in one of the lifts they shut him down because they didn't want him lifting more.
Yeah, past the load mark.
Yeah, past the load mark, right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're getting to a situation where it's like he's coming in and you're like, shit, this kid's squatting 650 pounds and he's killing it. Where are we at? And so I think that is one thing. But you're right. And listen, in reference to the offensive line in this running game in general, LSU has not had a 1,000-yard rusher from the running back room since Ty Davis-Price, since 2021. BK's never had one. Josh Williams ran for 532 in 2022. Logan Diggs with 653 and 23, and Durham at 753 last year. And Carter, the bottom line is that you got to run the ball, and I agree with you. First place I'm going is the offensive line. Screw everything else. I don't want to see Garrett Nussmeier throwing on air. That shit, that means nothing to me. The only thing that matters is, can you protect his ass? If I find out that you can protect his ass, then we can get to bigger issues. But that is the biggest storyline coming into camp.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And back to your point, it is important to note that the LSU rushing attack was good for the first couple of seasons because of number 5.
Yes.
Right? I mean, there's not honestly a better quarterback to play with as a running back collegiately than Jaden because of the gravity he creates. And, you could kind of see it if you go back and watch closely, in particular, the Texas A&M 2023 film, where anytime LSU handed the football off to a running back, it was just an utter disaster, right?
Yeah, 36 total yards, right.
Yeah, and going back to that season, so this is where, you kind of defend Sloan to a certain degree, even though the rushing attack was absolutely dreadful last year. I do think this has just been a thing, Blake, because you go from about, I think, past the Auburn game, there wasn't a running back who had a game over 50 yards rushing from that point on. And that was with Jayden Daniels at quarterback. So it's been a problem. And I know it's bothered Brian Kelly that because, he's had Kyron Williams. He's had Audric Estime, if you will. Estime was a little bit after Kyron, but still he's recruited those guys. Brian Kelly loves the running back position, and that's just going to be something that needs to get fixed.
Got to get fixed now. I mean, it's the biggest thing. What's the second thing you would go and look at?
Yeah, obviously, Blake, it would be the other side of the football and how the defensive backs sort itself out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
I agree. Me and you are agreeing on two things. That's scary.
it's scary. So, look, I think where Tamarcus Cooley lines up will be fascinating. His spring was a little rocky, if you ask me.
Ain't nothing little about that rocky road, son.
Well, I don't go as hard in the paint based on spring stuff, but it was rocky. That's based on public clips, but he's learning a new position because he didn't play a true safety role at NC State. He played more of the nickel, if you will. Right. But he's plenty talented. I mean, the ECU bowl game was phenomenal from him, and LSU really wanted him to be a part of the secondary, but it was enough for them to still go out there and get AJ Halsey, right? Mm-hmm. So how that actually gets sorted out, obviously Halsey, you would like to think, is for sure going to be a piece, and then Mansour Delane. And then honestly, Blake, we're talking about youth. The guy I keep going back to is Ashton Stamps, all right? So Ashton Stamps to begin the season was fine, right? But it was also ahead of schedule out of necessity, right? He wasn't ready to be a full-time Uno, right? Number one, you think all the great defensive backs that wore Uno, especially from New Orleans, Christian Fulton, obviously.
Yeah, Christian Fulton spent the whole week with him last week.
Right, and they had the little jersey thing. And then Dante Jackson as well. Those are big shoes to fill, right? It's a difficult position to be good at early. And he just wasn't ready. He wore down towards the end of last year and just lacked all different types of confidence. You could see it out there. You could see it in the Baylor game where he made an amazing interception and then just couldn't hold on to it there at the end. So is he someone that can hold serve, right? Because Mansour Delane, I think most of us believe he's going to be one of the starting corners. I would put a decent amount on that. And can he hold off DJ Pickett? Can he hold off PJ Woodland, who is a very fascinating player in his own right, who also played quite a bit? So Stamps fascinates me in so many different ways. This kid works his tail off. I remember him getting the LSU offer, working his ass off at that LSU camp to get that offer.
Yeah.
He
wants to be here.
Yeah, and you cheer for the Louisiana 3-star, right? It's kind of a relic of yesteryear. And he trained at DPT, right? There's DPT trained Devonta Smith and all these other Louisiana legends. So I'm cheering for Ashton, but man, towards the end of last year, he was just struggling so much. I hope he bounces back.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Can DJ Pickett be held off?
Or Jakeem Jackson. That's a good point by Alexander.
Yeah. Well, Jakeem Jackson from Florida. I mean, the thing is that I don't even think he worked himself in at 3, really. I don't think Ashton had a bad spring. I got to be honest with you. The guy who was all over the place during the spring that I'm monitoring in that position just to see if it was just spring ball or if it's like if this something that translates is Michael Turner.
I was hoping you'd go there, man.
I mean, dude,
he's probably the fastest of those corners.
Dude, he can blaze. Bro, I don't – this is not a shot at Michael Van Buren. This is not a shot at Garrett. Carter, there was 3 straight days that he had 4 picks total. He had a pick every day. Garrett threw a fade to Barryon Brown in the back of the end zone. He beat Barryon to the spot and then high-pointed it and caught a pick in the end zone. Michael Van Buren tried to go over the middle. Carter, he undercut a slant route and took it to the house. Like, okay, is this spring – or can this kid play? I mean, like 166 pounds, but hey, there was another corner that wore number 29 or was in the 20s that was 152 pounds. So I don't know if I really want to hear that. Can the kid cover?
Well, were you talking about Greedy Williams? Is that who you're referring?
Greedy Williams had string cheese as calves. I mean, let's be real, but the dude can cover, okay? Is it spring or is it this? We're going to find out. Michael Turner's got some serious athleticism. So, again, Carter, both situations, whether it be O-line or DB, the most fascinating part of this, it was probably the two of the areas that you struggle the most, none more than interior offensive line and at safety, right? Like, I mean, that's the two areas that you struggle the most. But I got to say this, though. Corner, I'm not as worried about as much as I'm just like, brother, you got to be better at safety. I mean,
that's the bottom line. Yeah, it really is. And one more thing on Michael Turner is he was just so light going in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, based on my data, I try to keep up with all the different sites. He was the smallest LSU recruit at a skill position ever, right? At like 150 coming in. So physicality would need to be there. But if he really gets bigger, he could be that guy. I mean,
Carter, I'm not asking him to come up and tackle a running back on third down in the interior. I'm asking him to cover on 3rd and 7. That's what I'm asking him to do. I mean, like, let's just be honest.
He's just so damn fast, man. And one thing that would have been nice if he was playing last year is that we sucked at the chase down tackle. If there's one thing we know he can do, he could be a last resort.
Run somebody down.
Yeah, he out of anyone on that defense, he could definitely be.
He's got elite speed. Like, I'm telling you, he beats Barry and Brown to a point and high points it. So again, we're gonna find out, but that DB room, I guess we'll see. Third thing that you want to, before we kind of get in a couple more questions here, third thing that you're monitoring here.
Yeah, Blake, I'll go to the tight end position. I mean, this is well, you're the Trade as Green president fan club, right? You
last time I went full fan club, Jay Ward went stupid.
So this is your flag plant. You have one every year. You have a flag plant.
It was my flag plant last year. I don't remember.
I have no idea. But I just always remember we do one about like a month before, and you have a flag plant. And will this be the Trade as Green season? So, look, the weird thing about Green is him and Aaron Anderson could be sharing a lot of these slot type of targets, right? You wouldn't think that based on like their size discrepancy, but you know,
the smallest dude with the biggest dude, yeah,
and there's huge advantages to both of those types of players. But you do see it a little bit more, Blake, in the NFL where, you know, you used to think slot receiver, you would think obviously Wes Welker, right? That's the first name that comes to everybody's mind in with the 07 Patriots where, you know, you had Randy Moss on the outside and then you had Wes Welker just absolutely slicing people up and you had Brady, a really good intermediate passer. Well, now you have quite a few big slot guys that are out there. Now you still have a lot of tiny slots that's still your traditional type of body that plays that position. But man, Trade as Green is a big slot, did some really good things in that Baylor game, right? He had a big 4th and 5 on an out that on that type of pattern. Aaron Anderson was kind of the quick out guy in the offense. So where they line up Trade as Green, the good thing is as a receiver, you do feel comfortable about him playing everywhere. But him as a big slot is going to be so fascinating, along with Barra Sharp, who is obviously really, really, really fast. Can either one of them, though, Blake, be an inline blocker, a consistently great inline blocker? My opinion about Barra Sharp's inline blocker is inline blocking ability, unfortunately, leans towards how a lot of Oklahoma fans felt about it. And they were screaming towards LSU fans, hey, his inline blocking ability is not really that great. But Blake, I agree with that. But you do see people leap forward in blocking ability. That's not something that's just sticky. And I think Sharp was fine as a blocker. I just don't think he was an addition like a guy like Mason Taylor was last year. So which one of those two can be an inline blocker is going to be so key in this running game because it adds an extra gap that you have to worry about in your rushing attack, which would help out an inexperienced offensive line. So I'm very fascinated to see who steps up as a blocker next year.
And you have a tight ends coach that's an offensive line guy.
And I think that was intentional because they and this is also very key, Blake. Like Thaddeus Moss was, and I know we always go back 2019 this way. He was a really good blocker. Like he really developed. Like a Texas A&M game at the end, he was lifting people off the ground. It was nasty. And then since then, we've just not had a guy that has been a consistent enough inline blocker. I think some people remember this name, Connor Galbraith, who they brought in for this role. You remember old Connor, the JUCO kid from California, and couldn't keep up. It's one of the hardest things to do. So if they can manage it, if Barry Sharp becomes a better blocker, if Trades Green could do it some, this rushing attack could get going.
Question is do you put Bo Bordelon in that situation if you need blocking?
Yeah, they did it last year, Blake, and it was with varying degrees of success, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not the biggest fan of getting big and tightening your formation. It's not really done LSU a lot of favors. It almost cost them the Missouri game a few years ago when they got big and they took BTJ or Malik out for some run plays. I'm not the biggest fan of it unless Ben Johnson or somebody that is truly great at calling those types of plays is calling the shots.
Ben Johnson threw a double pass to Penei Sewell for a touchdown last year. I don't think we have that creativity.
Right. And I'm not asking like Joe Sloan to be that good, but for those tight formations to work. Now they are unstoppable if you rep it and you have a play caller who can get very creative with it, but that's not us. And that was also the case during Denbrock, right? I'm citing times from the Denbrock when we got big and we got tight. Look at the South Carolina game last year where we failed to convert in the red zone. I think you remember that.
Oh yeah.
No, it was
couldn't get an inch. Couldn't get an inch.
I was waiting for a pause.
Screw that. You couldn't get an inch. Brother, that series pissed me off so much because go tuck the damn football and go tuck rule on their ass.
Right. Like,
Carter, I got to be real with you. It showed that showed a lack of physicality. Go fuck everybody up. I'm sorry, but you can't play pussy ball. I hate to say it like that, but you kind of can't. Everybody talking about Jalen Hurts hitting one of the top 10 quarterbacks. I saw the guy on Cowherd today. And I'm like, brother, no one wants to tackle him in the open field. Shut your mouth.
Jalen's not a top 10 QB.
He is a top 10 QB because he's been to 2 Super Bowls. Brady did not have the stats that he had at his end of the career, but he had 2 Super Bowls. Then he had a third appearance. Carter, he was middle of the pack. He had a below-average QBR, below-average passer rating.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you, he's not a top 10. I would put him probably. I would put him in the back end. I would put him in the back end of my top 10. I'd put him in the back end of my top 10.
You can't name. You can't. There's no way that you can give me 4 quarterbacks that are better than him that have more achievements than he does in big game situations. He beat the dog shit out of Kansas City his damn self.
Oh, so you would put him over Mahomes?
No, I said top 10, not number 1, goofball.
But you just said top 5. You just said top 5. Would you put him in your top 5?
No, I didn't say I'd put him in my top 5.
Okay, I thought you said top 5 a minute ago.
I said I put him in my top 10. Can I be real with you? Lamar Jackson can do whatever he wants in the regular season. He never shows up in the playoffs. Neither does Josh Allen.
So Jalen is better than those 2.
Yeah, because he's been to 2 Super Bowls and when the
Blake, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this.
Carter, I don't mean this in a wrong. I don't mean this. Hold on. I don't mean this in a wrong way. But sometimes y'all get there and y'all watch film and dude makes a ridiculous throw. But when the game's on the line and he's got to have big balls, he shrinks and he couldn't fit a grease BB up his ass to save his life.
Blake, you're better than this, man.
No, y'all go for this. Oh, let me watch the film and see how great this throw was.
And then nothing to do with the film.
And then Christian,
you cannot look at me in the face. Look at me in the face and say that Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. You can't.
No, but what I'm saying is that if a guy's gotten to 2 Super Bowls and when the game was on the line, he fucked people up, You're going to have the debate.
Okay,
Carter, he's been to 2 of them.
All right, so what about the Los Angeles Rams game where he was a disaster? And they won despite of him. Took 7 sacks.
I remember a Tom Brady Super Bowl where he didn't score a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. Trust me.
They barely got past the 50.
So if
you want to take a singular game,
you're making my point that it is a team game and Jalen Hurts played behind.
But who is the greatest of all time? Who's the greatest of all time? Who's the greatest of all time?
Who's the best quarterback of all time?
Who's the greatest quarterback of all time?
I would say Tom Brady.
And you better go look at those early career Super Bowls and those early career wins because he was below average in a lot of those.
Oh, I did a film study on every one of those Super Bowls. I made that point in every single one of them on Power Hour NFL.
You got to be clutch to win, and he's a clutch player.
So let me ask you this: Would you take Jalen Hurts over Joe Burrow? Because that same argument.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay,
but I said top 10. I didn't say top 5. If we're going Mahomes, if we're going Allen, if we're going Burrow, if we're going those guys, I'm not putting them over Jackson myself. But top 10.
Okay, I'll give you top. I'll give you top 10. I would say Jaden Daniels is better than Jalen Hurts.
I put Jaden in there above him too. But I got to be honest with you. So I have a conversation about a guy like Jared Goff, but then start naming others.
Okay, that's honestly Justin Herbert.
I'm not putting Herbert in there.
Oh, come on.
I got to be real with you.
Come on, man.
No, y'all are crazy on this Herbert. Didn't Justin Herbert have 7 interceptions in the last month that didn't lead them to where they needed to go?
Yeah, Justin Herbert's better than Jalen Hurts.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Newsflash. You do know that me and you had this same debate, ironically, about 3 years ago. You know who the quarterback was? Jared Goff. Jared Goff. And I told you he got to a Super Bowl, and you got to take it some of the things when this dude makes the throws when he's clutch. And Jared Goff might be one of the better quarterbacks in all of the NFL.
No,
you don't get Super Bowls and your quarterback is Dookie. I'm sorry, you don't. You don't. You don't. Not in the NFL. You don't.
So is Jalen better than C.J. Stroud?
If you're asking me right now who I'd take, I might take Jalen Hurts over C.J.
Okay, is he better than is he better than Brocktober Purdy?
Yeah, heavens, yes.
Yeah, I think it's close, but I'd go Jalen. So I would say you're right, Jalen.
Yeah, don't come in here acting like you trying to get me riled up before camp. No, don't do that to me.
No, don't. What? Okay. What about Geno Smith?
Get out. All right, now you just bullshit.
Oh man, no,
no. You gonna put Tyler Shuck in your? You gonna put Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck up in there?
Shut. All right. What about Matthew? Can't keep a healthy back Stafford.
He's washed. Tua's not in there. Stafford's not in there. You have no idea what Michael Penix is. I mean, I think you could have a debate with Baker Mayfield in some degree in that, but even him, Bryce Young had a 6-game good schedule. Yeah, he played decent in 6 games. I mean, now you're out of quarterbacks.
No, what about Kyler?
Kyler needs brother. Did you see Cardinals camp today? By the way,
no, I didn't. I saw him throw a jump ball.
He needs a booster seat to drive his car.
Do not get on just because you're 6'2". Don't get on us short kings. Us short kings,
brother, he's 5'9". He's 5'9".
Short kings have been discriminated against our whole life.
Name a quarterback that's been 5'9" that's been worth a damn.
Well, he's 5'10" for one.
He ain't 5'10". He's not 5'10". He's 5'9 3/4.
Okay, so I would say him and Drew Brees are comparable in height.
Drew Brees is 5'11".
Yeah, but we're talking an inch.
Them 2 inches ask your lady if them 2 inches is a big deal.
You want me to call her in here? We'll call her in.
Come on. Can you stop? Don't be crazy. Okay. But them 2 inches mean a lot.
Yeah, for some, maybe. I mean, whatever floats your boat. No, I'm kidding. Jalen's in my top 10, but
He's got to be in your top 10. I don't know how we got on from this tangent, but here we are.
no,
but
I mean, there's going to be 1,000 LSU Clemson debacles. I will say though,
I actually wanted to ask you about that. Yeah. It's on my notes to ask you. So last week, well, because a lot of people asked a comment about, because I asked you last week if right now today you would take Clemson to beat LSU, and you said yes. Well, we clipped the video, and the video goes up on YouTube, and lo and behold, here comes all the people, asking.
Oh, you clipped my take?
Yeah. Well, we clipped the whole video. We clipped the whole video, and then we put it on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
In that, the question that everybody asked, there's like 7 questions that got asked by people. Can you ask Carter? You say that you think you're buying into Clemson stock. What is it outside of Klubnik that's making you buy into that stock, and why you think they're beating LSU week 1?
Yeah, so they returned most of their offensive line. They have a 3-headed
offensive line. All 5 of them.
And guys, I say most because guys get injured in camp and all of that. Whatever. But their 3 wide receiver trio is really, really, really good. Wesco in particular is good, and he might be their number 3 guy. Then obviously I'm a Cade believer. I think he's very good. He's battled through a fumbling problem that plagued him early in the career. Phil Maffa is a loss, so whoever steps up at RB is going to be interesting. They're a lead on the defensive line.
They have a true freshman that's starting at running back, by the way.
Yeah, and I've listened to a few different Clemson experts talk about who they think is going to be the guy. And then you go to the other side of the football. 47 is a good backer for them.
Sammy Brown.
Yeah, so their defensive line is really good. I saw your guy Joel clip that zero tech nose tackle. The end zone clips of his name slips my mind right now, but I'm a Will Help.
Clemson nose tackle.
Yeah, it was inconsistent, and then it's very interesting watching a guy like Peter Woods. I think they'll use him in a more comfortable role. They kind of used him as a defensive end for a good bit of last year, and Blake, Dabo's done this thing. I mean, there's something to be said about a coach who's been to playoffs, and we're going to have a season opener with both coaches that have been to playoffs. Now, Dabo's actually gone and won it. So you have a coach who's been there. I think Garrett Riley's last name carries a lot of weight for him because, when you think Riley, you just think offensive genius. So I think there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders going into this year. But I do believe the Clemson hype. Now, here's what's interesting about my prediction of Clemson winning is that, number one, this doesn't mean LSU can't win, right? I think if you were to simulate this game 100 times, Clemson wins it 60% of the time, right? So basically, if you're a poker player, it's ace king versus pocket queens or pocket tens or whatever, and you're the slight underdog in that situation. So I think LSU can go in there and win. I just think, Blake, it's tough for me to talk myself into picking LSU in what should be the most difficult spot you could have drawn up short of going to the shoe and playing at Ohio State or somewhere. I can't think of many more difficult places to play your season opening game with so many new starters on there.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Go in there and try to win.
Right. So there's just and obviously that's a conference game. So I was more so talking about like a non-conference matchup you theoretically could draw up. Now that doesn't mean I'm not confident in LSU going in. I'm just saying I'm just picking Clemson based on the probability of them winning this game. Now, here's a good thing is that it's not the be all end all, right? Let's go back to 2011. LSU beat Oregon early in the season. Oregon would have comfortably still made a 12-team playoff if the 12-team playoff was around then. So it's not the be-all, end-all. Nobody went undefeated last year. I just think Clemson, I'm a believer in their hype, and I think they'll be a college football playoff team this year. Now, one final thing I'll say. Are you a Bear Felicia guy? Chris Bear Felicia.
I know.
You don't like him?
I mean, he's just been so off.
Right. He's fading Clemson pretty hard. I watched.
Well, then we're losing. Then we're flat out losing.
I like the Bear. I think he's a mostly sharp.
He's a nice guy, but he don't get picks right. We're losing. We're probably gonna lose by double digits now because he picked us.
Oh God, Blake, come on now. Got to show
Carter. Anybody that's a betting expert that hits below 40% or hits below 50%.
I don't have his record in front of me. I guess I need to go.
Carter, that's why ESPN fired him. He went like 13-31.
Okay, well, I thought he had a better record than that. I watched a video.
No, he's got awful.
I didn't know you're. Because normally with like sports betting stuff, I like to originate and make my own picks. So I try not to, get too into the weeds of any other expert. But that's interesting. I always thought he was sharp because I had two different people send me this video of him.
Well, what did he
saying,
say?
Hey,
what is his reasoning?
He's saying he's taking Clemson under the win total. He thought that they were a very fraudulent team last year. So, I mean,
look, I'll say this to his credit or to his point. There are some things that Clemson's got to answer now. I mean, Peter Woods and TJ Parker are one thing. TJ Parker had his worst games against ranked opponents. I mean, and they were bad games. Like didn't do shit against Kelvin Banks. Peter Woods, I mean, golly, Texas just scored another rushing touchdown on them. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
so you think that there is a world where this front seven might be a little bit softer than because Louisville pushed them around. Tyler Shuck had his best runs versus Clemson in the QB run game. So that
go ahead.
It's interesting because Shuck obviously has some legs, but that's not really what he does. Yeah, he had a big red zone TD. And,
he did.
And Garrett saying he's
Chuck actually go watch the Louisville. I encourage Saints fans go watch and LSU fans if you're both go watch Louisville Clemson. Shuck beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, and their run game honestly was good. So
Carter, they got their asses whooped up front. Personnel doesn't change like that. We should know better than most.
And look, I will say this. I hope egg is on my face more than any other time.
Oh, I hope it is too.
Yeah, I mean, I picked LSU to win every season opener over these last 5 years.
You just said I'm not doing it again. I can't do it.
Yeah, so now the opposite's going to happen, and LSU's going to take care of business. So
I'm right there with you. I understand. I mean, I get it.
But I do need to shout out friend of the channel, your biggest fan, my biggest fan, Mr. John Sibley, coming in hot with
that. He did send in a super chat. Let's get to it. $20 super chat says LSU needs to reload again. When you can play, you can. When you can play, you can play. Bill Arnsbarger would play a freshman over a senior if he could play. Will the Tigers reload with players who can flat out play in the future? Carter, I've got to be real with you. They've done a really good job, I think, of reloading in some areas with talented guys. Can they develop them?
Yeah, I will also say this, Blake.
For the super chat.
I do think this team is just so significantly more. I would say definitely more talented on the defensive side of the ball.
I agree.
Honestly, going into any one of these Brian Kelly teams, including the 2022 team, Blake, I was the most concerned personnel-wise about the LSU defense going into last year. Now, their defense, that was not the worst LSU defense. Obviously, 2023 would be. But it was anyone that had two eyes and a heart and rationality knows that defense was just lacking in the personnel department. And I give Brian Kelly a lot of credit for saying, look, we really got to hit the ground running. I'm going to talk to one of the transfers tomorrow. I'm really excited about that. So getting a guy like Jack Pyburn in, getting a guy like Mansour Delane in, guys that have true NFL chops is huge. It's absolutely positively huge, because what was happening, Blake, was LSU was playing a lot of guys consistently that were just constantly struggling because they didn't have any other options. So there's people like me and you saying, hey, play the young guys, play the young guys, play the young guys. So versus Baylor, guess what LSU did? They played the young guys, and Sawyer Robertson, Sawyer Robertson, that changed his whole NFL outlook going into this next year. So, now you're deeper to where if somebody is struggling, you feel a little bit more better about pointing to a backup and saying, hey, go in. And I truly do feel that way. I'm not just saying that just to, steam up this LSU defense. So personnel-wise, we'll learn a lot about what Blake Baker is going into next year.
Better figure it out, and we start figuring it out on Wednesday, so it's going to be really fun. All right.
It's here, baby. It's close to
I mean, brother, you're 30 days away from the SEC starting football.
And who's the first SEC game?
I think it's in Auburn or South Carolina. Auburn's got Baylor, which, by the way, Auburn.
That's a game.
Hold on.
Auburn's,
did you see Dave Aranda's comments at Big 12 Media Days or whatever it was? Talking about the midget from Wolf of Wall Street, and who's like, one of us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love Dave, but that was a wild ass thing. I can't believe that video is not AI.
No, I thought it was. I still can't believe it, and I'm such a big Aranda guy.
God, jeez, on Pete.
If he was fired for saying that, he would have 20 calls saying, "Hey, come be our DC," like right now.
Golly.
But do you agree with the people out there that say, hey, but do you agree with the people out there that say, hey, he's got a point? Like did you see the vision?
I just don't think in today's culture it's smart to run out there saying, as a head coach, saying the word midget.
No, can't say the M word. Now,
no.
Here's the thing, though. If you want to know if that word is truly offensive, you should go listen to the John Mulaney bit.
Yeah, it's funny. Very funny.
Yeah, so just Google that if you should say that. And he lays out the case really well.
I think we all need to calm down on words. I don't know.
Like Jalen Hurts is a top 10 QB.
All right, name your top 10.
Jalen Hurts is number.
No, let's go. You making fun of me? Let's go.
No, Jalen Hurts would be number 8. Jalen Hurts would be number 8 for me.
Okay, well, let's name them. Mahomes.
Yes, I would have Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson number 1 right now. They're 1, 2 in either order. Based on what they've done, yes. You're telling me that the 2 quarterbacks that have combined for the last 3 MVPs?
MVPs doesn't mean shit when you're out there. Hold on, stop. Hold on. For the love of God, will you please stop? MVPs don't mean shit when your team needs you the most and you run out there in the playoffs and you get your shit kicked in. Lamar has not performed when it mattered most. That is not an opinion. That is a fact.
Okay, I would agree with you, but Josh Allen is a little bit different.
High take. I don't think Lamar should have won the first MVP. I thought the second one was more rewarding for him.
Yeah.
Mahomes had a 45 touchdown season, but you had Mahomes fatigue.
Yes.
MVPs don't mean anything when you are on the playoffs on the line and you can't do shit. I'm sorry. Carter, it's like these quarterbacks in the Big 12 who used to pad their stats, and then they go into these playoff games and get their shit kicked in.
You can't compare going up against Big 12 defensive versus the
Have
NFL.
you seen the NFC South? Have
No,
you seen the NFC South?
And what division does Lamar Jackson and freaking Josh Allen play in, dude? Josh Allen is throwing to
literally the worst defense in the NFL last year was in his division in the Cincinnati Bengals. And then you had the Pittsburgh Steelers who barely could get past the 50-yard line like their name was Les Miles. That division has big star power. They weren't good.
Okay. If you want to put Mahomes 1, that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
You can't take the mantle from the dude who just got back to another Super Bowl. Sorry.
Right. Okay. But based on QBR, MVP.
No, don't give me that analytical bullshit.
No,
don't give me that analytical bullshit.
It's part of the equation, Blake.
It's not part of the equation when the film tells you.
Part of the equation.
Carter, I'm sorry. You can't take the mantle from Mahomes when literally, he just got back to another Super Bowl with his worst team.
Okay, so say this with a straight face.
Did Lamar Jackson get to a Super Bowl in the AFC? Did Josh Allen?
He's not.
Who's the only quarterback? Who is the only quarterback to take that mantle away from Patrick Mahomes? Who is it?
It would be.
Say his name. He's right here. Say his name.
No, there's more Joe Burrows on screen than me or you. And for those listening, we both have a Joe Burrow.
All right.
So Mahomes. If you want to put Mahomes
Lamar, you're going Lamar. Go number 2. Who's your number 2?
I would put Josh Allen number 1, then Lamar.
Okay.
And then
Lamar,
and then Mahomes. And obviously, I would put Joe Burrow number 4. I think Joe Burrow is the clear number 4. And then I think the clear number 5 is Jaden Daniels.
Okay, who's number 6?
I would say Justin Herbert. Now, you got to put Herbert there.
Well, how about you don't throw 8 interceptions in the month of December and then come talk to me?
How about this?
What's number 7?
How about you tell the Chargers to not draft Quentin Johnston, who is
it's not my fault. None of that. That's bullshit. Carter
and they go out and
turnovers are not a wide receiver problem. They're a quarterback problem, and it's about time that it's about time that y'all start getting onto that. You cannot throw in the triple coverage. Newsflash.
And then I would probably have CJ or Jalen 7 or 8. I'm still a believer in CJ. That offensive environment last year was terrible.
Can I give you my top 8 then?
Well, then go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
All right. Mahomes, Burrow.
Oh, so you have Burrow over Lamar and okay.
Yes. Allen.
Okay.
Allen. Daniels. Lamar, because I think Jaden is the Coca-Cola version of Lamar Jackson.
God, dude. I like it.
I'm going Jared Goff at 6. I'm going Jalen Hurts at 7. And then at 8, I'd probably go CJ Stroud.
And then Herbie behind. Is Herbie in your top 10 at all?
He'd probably be around 10.
Okay.
Jaden Daniels is the Coca-Cola version of Lamar Jackson.
So you think Jaden's better than Lamar?
Without a doubt. He's going to be better than him. Because Jaden's got whatever it is, he's got it.
I'm with you. All right. I like Jaden. I like Jaden and I'm not really a big Josh Allen or Lamar or Mahomes guy. Jaden and Joe just take up so much of my oxygen. It's just hard for me to be a fan of any other quarterback outside of whoever the Saints quarterback is. But
Jaden is light years ahead at throwing the football with accuracy than Lamar Jackson is.
I would totally agree with that. I would totally agree with that. But
he's better than him now. And he's only been in the league for a year.
But here's what I would say. Okay. What Lamar has done these past 3 years is one of the best 3-year runs I've ever seen a QB go on. Ever.
Okay. I also saw him all 3 years fumble in the postseason.
This last postseason loss was not on him.
Didn't he throw 3 picks or 2 picks?
No.
Didn't he? Yeah, he did. He overshot Mark Allen over the middle and got picked. Yes, he did.
No, but what preceded those mistakes were mistakes by things that are out of his control, right? So he had a big fumble in that playoff game.
Fumbling's not on him. It's on somebody else.
It was on him, but on the play before it, Mark Andrews point blank dropped a 15-yard gainer, right? Now, should Lamar have made that mistake? No. Has he mostly not been great in the playoffs? Yes, he would tell you that. He's choked. And I will also say that Patrick Queen Ravens team that lost to Patrick Mahomes in the postseason, that is one of the biggest choke jobs in NFL history. That Ravens team was one of the best teams I have ever covered since doing NFL coverage. And they sucked. They choked. And they play like ass, and they had 1,000 penalties. And it wasn't as if the Chiefs did anything crazy. And I go back to Justin Tucker messing with Lamar and Kelsey before that game, and Lamar and Kelsey not Lamar.
Whip that ass.
Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey went on a tear in the first half, and the Justin Tucker, the new massage therapist guy.
God bless. Well, by the way, hold on, be careful. Say allegedly, because he
allegedly. I'm telling you, allegedly, but he poked the bear. He poked the bear, and Mahomes and Kelsey did enough in that first half to win that game. I will say Lamar is choked in the playoffs, right? And Jaden was unbelievable in the playoffs. He had 3 elite playoff games. The Eagles game was not on him. So you look, you might be right on that. You might be totally right to have Jaden ahead of Lamar.
Because of the fact when the field shrinks and everybody's playing and you got to make big time throws in the playoffs to win games, Lamar's not going to be there. Sorry, he's not. In the regular season, there's a different football that gets played than once it's in the playoffs. I'm sorry, it is. And when every time that he's got to sit there and he's got to throw, there's a reason why Jaden made the throws that he didn't. I'm sorry. Like I'm telling you. All right. There's no way I'm putting him in there. No way I'm putting him in the top 3. None. Zero zilch.
So would you be bold enough to say Lamar is never going to a Super Bowl?
I'm not going to say that because they have they do a great job of drafting and building teams. I'm not going to say that. But, brother, there's 3 quarterbacks in the AFC that I'm taking before him. And
Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow. Yeah.
Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow.
I can do that.
To a place where I do think Jaden's the best quarterback in the NFC right now. I do.
No, yeah, I don't think that's a question. Yeah.
No, I don't either.
Yeah. I think Jaden of those guys outside of Mahomes has the best ecosystem to go to Super Bowls because of the way the NFC is.
And the Redskins are the Commanders, dude. You see how much money the new ownership's spending? They spent $250 million out of their own pocket to build a new facility.
They've got cap space and a lot to work with, and Debo and all of that. Look, none of what Jaden did this past year really shocked me because I do think if Jaden played 100 more college games, he would never have had a bad game. That's how good he was playing at the end of
I agree.
I mean, it was like to the point where I was like, man, I got to see him play live as many times as humanly possible. So I went to the Florida game, went to the A&M game, and you know how difficult it is to do this and go to the games and figure out where to do it.
Almost impossible.
It's hard, but I was like, dude, I've never seen somebody like this in my life that plays the way that he plays. And I was like, I know what my eyes are seeing. I was like, this guy is just transcendently good. So, but there we go. My thing with Jalen Hurts, though, in the Jalen Hurts argument, is this last year, the Eagles set the NFL record in the modern era for drop back rate. Right, it was the lowest that we have seen in a very long time. Mm-hmm. Well, you're telling me that I should have the quarterback who's literally being asked to do the least ahead of guys that have.
That's not fair because he's got over 100 rushing attempts. I think it was over 150. So dropback rate is something there, but he also ran the ball a lot.
Yes, and a lot of those were sneaks, and I give him credit. He squats 600 pounds. That's part of the equity of him having being your QB. It's just it's hard for me to put someone like that over a guy like Joe Burrow who's asked to do everything, right? So it's one of those things. I obviously don't know. What?
I didn't have him above Burrow, though.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was just saying, like, in general.
I mean, Carter, the thing with him that I think is the most insane talking about him, okay, when we're talking about rushing, he had 150 rushing yards, and he had 14 touchdowns. Think about this. He's had 30 rushing touchdowns in the NFL in 2 years. Now, a lot of those come from a quarterback aspect, but you got to also understand, I mean, we're talking about if he has another year just a baseline off of his average, he's going to shatter. I'm talking about obliterate Mike Vick's TD rushing record, Cam Newton's touchdown rushing record from a quarterback. He's going to shatter it.
Okay, so let's really test your ball knowledge here. Is Jalen Hurts better than Cam Newton? NFL.
I don't think I can get there yet. I don't think I can get there.
Good. Because
I don't think I can get there. But
trust you, there's no quarterback that Louisiana fans should hate more. Because that 2010 team might have been good enough to
outside the national championship years, the last time that you won 10 games in the regular season was 2010 when Cam Newton went off.
Yeah. I mean,
outside of the national title years, think about that for a minute.
I mean, it's really that team was so unfreaking believably good. And every time I see like Patrick Peterson, he brings that up to me. I don't see him often, but that team was special. Like, they were really, really, really good. And then Cam just did his thing. I mean, I was at Auburn for that game. I was on the field for that game, and I just remember just what the hell. It was just insane.
The last thing I'd bring up here, and I mean this last thing, and I'll let you out of here.
Yeah, go ahead.
The thing for me is that the Eagles beat Kansas City. I think it was what 42-22 or 40-22, whatever it was, and in that, I know Jalen had the interception. The problem with that is that Saquon Barkley got completely eliminated from that game. He had like 25 rushes for like 50 yards, completely eliminated. And he continued to throw them and run them into a Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
So
that's because Kansas City did everything to stop Saquon. And I give Jalen credit for throwing the way that he threw. But Saquon, I think, was the reason that Jalen had the throwing game that he had. Look, here would be – this was my main argument about Jalen Hurts, okay? How many right tackles would you say are better than Lane Johnson in the past decade?
Not sure.
There's not one. I mean, he's 34, and
if we're gonna go that route, then I could say how many better tight ends other than Gronk have been there from Travis Kelce. I mean, you can't say, well, the other guys had really great players.
Yes, but you can with the Eagles. Like,
no, you can't.
Yeah, you can, because
Carter, how the fastest man alive in an NFL jersey ever.
Who?
Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, but he's not great at football like A.J. Brown is or Devonta Smith. He's not close to them.
Carter, he had 8 catches for 157 yards. He led the Super Bowl in receiving yards.
And that was garbage time receptions.
Carter, he had 150 yards going into the fourth quarter. No, he didn't.
No, it was garbage time. When it was 40, it was a scramble drill throw. You can't, with a straight face, say Xavier Worthy is close to A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith.
Tyreek Hill then. Kansas City had Tyreek Hill. He's had great weapons. Tom Brady had Randy Moss, Gronkowski. Drew Brees had really good players. He also had offensive linemen. It seems like you're trying to say something about other players to take away from Jalen. They took away Saquon Barkley
because those players' numbers are way better than Jalen Hurts' numbers. It's not even
Carter.
close.
None of them have double-digit rushing touchdowns
From pounding it in from 1 yard.
I don't give a flying Rudy Poo.
Like
Saquon Barkley can go in from a yard, and you don't take that away from him. How about this? When LT scored his 35th touchdown, it came from the 1 yard line.
Cool. That's great.
You can't take away 45 rushing touchdowns in 3 seasons. You can't do that to him. It's a part of his game.
Oh, and I give him credit, but if I am judging quarterbacks based on their ability to pound it in from 1 yard compared to actually doing all the other things quarterbacks do, Jalen Hurts, okay, the third best wide receiver in the NFL is A.J. Brown, behind Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Devonta Smith is a top 5 number 2 wide receiver in the NFL. Lane Johnson is by far the best right tackle in the NFL. Jordan Mailata is easily a top 5 left tackle in the NFL. The middle of that offensive line, easily a top 5 middle of the offensive line in the NFL. Saquon Barkley had arguably the best running back season we have seen since Adrian Peterson and the LaDainian Tomlinson seasons. Go to the defensive side of the football. Vic Fangio, who many would consider to be the best defensive coordinator of the past 5 years in the NFL, hitting on every single draft pick in the front 7, turning water to wine with Zach Bond, being an all-pro linebacker. I'm just saying there's not many teams that are more talented than the freaking Philadelphia Eagles.
And there have been other teams on dynasty runs where you had Hall of Famers. First ballot.
And I give Jalen a lot of credit for being clutch in the right moment.
Manning had 2 first ballot Hall of Fame wide receivers.
Oh, and Marvin Harrison and
Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, and Peyton would probably tell you
he had a Hall of Famer at Dallas Clark. He had a Hall of Fame. He had a Hall of Fame center. I mean, how many times are we going to do this? I mean, you can't take away.
Yeah, but Peyton Manning was on a completely different plane of playing quarterback than Jalen Hurts.
Sure, but you're not taking away from Peyton Manning from what he did based because he had first ballot Hall of Famers. Carter, when he didn't have first ballot Hall of Famers, he led the NFL in interceptions.
Yeah, when he was very young. Yeah, but
okay, he's also very young. Carter, he's only been in the league for 4 years.
And then when Peyton Manning, with basically toothpaste as his arm strength, went to Denver and put up a 50 touchdown.
That defense won that Super Bowl.
Oh, if you're judging just everything based on, Super Bowl success, sure. But I don't just look at the quarterback position as just a few postseason games. Now, if you want to say, hey, who is the best Super Bowl quarterback of all time? Jalen Hurts is probably no doubt in the top 5. When you're just judging based on Super Bowls, he had the two of the best Super Bowls you've ever seen. I'll give
last thing, and I'm letting you go. Who are the only 2 quarterbacks in the NFL to get to the Super Bowl twice in the last 3 years?
Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, yeah.
Yeah. Did Saquon Barkley help them get over the top? Maybe. Did he lead them to 2 Super Bowls? Yes. And there's no other quarterback not named Patrick Mahomes in the last 3 years that can say that. Sorry, there's more things that go into quarterback. That he's got a great right tackle. He's got a great wide receiver in A.J. Brown. Carter, the last time I checked, wasn't Lane Johnson out for one of those Super Bowls? Yeah, Mailata was out for one of those Super Bowls. One of the big offensive linemen was out for the first Super Bowl when they lost to Kansas City. I mean,
I think both played, but they weren't playing their best. I'll give you that. What I would also tell you though, Blake, is you look at last year and you look at the games where Jalen Hurts didn't have Lane Johnson and didn't have A.J. Brown. He fell apart. It was the Saints and the Buccaneers. He was absolutely atrocious. Once he got those guys back, he was good again. He was amazing.
You got talented guys around you, and you get better. Who would have ever thought?
It just happens to be that both of those guys are top 3 players at their positions, and they are the ones that do so much of the heavy lifting.
You took Tyreek Hill away from Patrick Mahomes, his numbers also fell off.
Yes, but he still.
So he
still played well. He still played
Carter,
well. To your argument, he still won 2 Super Bowls without him.
No, one.
No, he won 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek.
One. No, one.
He won 2.
They beat the Eagles. He was in the last one, and they lost this one. They were the 3 of the last 4 years. The first one, Tyreek was there, was he not?
Yes, but he won 2 Super Bowls. He beat the Eagles, and then he beat the 49ers again without Tyreek. The year before this last Super Bowl. You're getting mixed up.
Maybe you're right.
It's too late.
His numbers fell off. He was a Rudy Poo. All right.